Good afternoon, students. Hope you all are fine. Today, I am going to take a session on performance appraisal, meaning, need, importance, characteristics, and the process. Before I start this session on performance appraisal, we need to understand few things in our mind. The first one, what is performance? B, why performance appraisal is so important for an organization? C, as a manager, how do you conduct performance appraisal in an organization? In this particular session, we are going to divide these three aspects in a different way, and we'll try to find out what performance appraisal means to us, what are its basic features, and what is its importance in the organization, and how performance appraisal is being conducted in an organization. So before I start, if I ask to all of you, what is performance? Performance, if I say, in our understanding, is a function of ability and motivation. Now, when the ability of an employee in an organization is high and motivation is low, there will be a downfall in terms of the performance. Similarly, when the motivation level is high, but the requisite ability is not available, then the performance is low. Now, what is the importance of performance appraisal? The entire focus of performance appraisal in an organization practically focuses in terms of understanding and measuring the performance of an employee in his or her present job as well as for his future potential. So with that in the background, let us start. What do I mean by performance appraisal? What is appraisal? Appraisal is a word in an English term. It means you are assessing something or somebody. So in an organization, what you are going to assess? You are going to assess the performance of an employee. You are also going to assess the employee's behavior. You are also going to assess the employee's contribution in the overall development of the organizations. So with this backdrop, let us now start the discussion. What is performance appraisal? Now, performance appraisal, as we understand, is an assessment of an individual's performance in a systematic way. What do we mean by assessment? Assessment, to our understanding, means it's an evaluation. Evaluation of an individual's performance. What is individual performance here? Individual performance here refers to the employees who are working in an organization in a defined role, in a defined job. Now, when I say systematic way, what does systematic mean? That means it is process driven, and we need to understand what is that process is all about. This performance being measured against certain factors such as job knowledge. What is this job knowledge? That when an employee joins a company or an organization, he is being provided with his job descriptions. And from his job descriptions, you need to understand what is his task, duties and responsibilities in relation to a particular job. A person needs to know that it is the job knowledge that is going to perform in a particular position. The second factor we always keep in the mind when we go for performance appraisal is the quality and quantity of output, because output is very important in terms of the performance measurement. So when I say quantity of output, for example, in a sales, we measure in terms of the target achievement. Third, in the leadership abilities, that means when I am evaluating the performance of an employee in an organization, I am also trying to find out in him or her that whether that person possesses the leadership quality to handle the future job responsibilities in that organization or not. Fourthly, we also need to find out in terms of the supervision required. What are the supervision here understand we mean by the supervision? Supervision here means the way he can function his job independently or not, or does he require any person to supervise his job. The last one, we talks in terms of the dependability, we talks in terms of the versatility, we talks in terms of the cooperation. These are all the attributes or the qualities that we need to find in terms of the performance appraisal of a person. If I look at the definition of a performance appraisal as given by Dell and Beach, it is said that it is a systematic evaluation, that means it is a process driven, it's an evaluation of the individual with respect to his or her performance on the job and his or her potential for development. Now this new word comes to our mind. One word is called the performance and another word is called the potential. What does that potential mean? Potential means here that means if today I am working in an organization, what is my potential for future in terms of my organization or in terms of my job in an organization? So my potential competence, my potential knowledge, my potential skills also need to be evaluated. That means in future, what can I contribute in a particular job role, in particular organization, in a particular department in an organization. I think you are clear about it. What is performance appraisal? In a nutshell, performance appraisal is an evaluation of an individual's performance in a very systematic manner based on certain criteria or the factors. Now let us proceed to the next slide. Why performance appraisal? So why performance appraisal? What is the importance of performance appraisal? Or what is the need of performance appraisal? Or what is the objective of performance appraisal in an organization? There are lots of objectives, lots of importance, and the needs are there. I have tried to make it as much understandable to you in terms of certain points which I have highlighted here, and you can also see on my PPT. The first objective, to effect promotion based on competence and performance. That means when I am working in an organization, every employee needs to get rewarded in terms of his competence and in terms of the performance. That means performance appraisal facilitates the organization in terms of taking a decision in terms of his promotion or in terms of his hike in an organization. Number one. Number two, we need to confirm the services of employees on probation. That means you will find when you join an organization, we sometimes remain on a probationary period. And when we are on a probationary period, in that probationary period, the organizations very meticulously take observations of our do's and don'ts in terms of our performance. And in that regard, we need to conform to that services. Thirdly, to assess the training and developmental need of the employee. So when an employee is working in an organization in terms of his performance, if he is assessed some training and developmental gaps, we try to fulfill those gaps in terms of providing training and developmental programs for that performance. Therefore, the performance appraisal is also important to identify the training need of an employee. Next, to decide on pay hike of an employee, because whenever the season of performance appraisal comes, there is always a kind of fear factor plays in the mind of an employee. I must prove to my company, I must be working very hard, with a 100% commitment and a 100% dedication. So the main reason that when an employee is driven and working in an organization, he always has this dream in his mind that after the performance appraisal, will my salary will be hiked or will I be working in the same salary brackets? So all these decisions are taken in terms of the performance appraisal procedure. The next one, to improve communication, as it provides a platform to subordinate and superior to discuss the personal goals and the concerns. Many a time in an organization, it has been noticed that subordinates have a lot of personal goals in relation to their career planning, in terms of their career growth. So all these kind of issues need to be mutually discussed with their line managers, with their supervisors, and try to find out to a solution, try to find out to an understanding what does the superior expects from him and what is the role of an employee in relation to that particular job profile. Those things need to be clearly defined in the beginning of the performance appraisal period. The last one of the need of performance appraisal is to determine whether various HR programs are effective or not. What do you mean by HR programs? The HR programs here signifies the different training and development programs, the different recruitment, the selection, the developmental programs that we usually focus upon the employees, those kinds of programs, whether it is actually meeting the greater goal of the company and whether it is effective in the long run, all these discussions are taken place during the performance appraisal period. Now let us proceed to the third slide. What are the characteristics or the qualities, please June, what are the characteristics or qualities of sound appraisal system? Because appraisal, when you do, it's in an appraisal there are two parties, one the appraisee and one the appraiser. That means the person on whom the appraisal is being conducted is the appraisee, and the person on whom the appraisal is conducted by is called the appraisee. Now, in this particular characteristics or the qualities of the sound appraisal system, because all appraisal systems need to be governed with certain specific qualities or the characteristics. The first one, it talks about in terms of simple and understandable by the employee and avoid complications. Because the appraisal, the meaning of the appraisal, the procedure of the appraisal, the manner or the mechanism in which the appraisal to be carried out, it should be very simple and understandable at every level of the hierarchy of the organizations. The second one, we need to be suitable to be adopted for appraisal at regular interval, because appraisal should be done on a regular basis. In our organizations, you will find that there is a quarterly review, there is a monthly review, there is at the end of the year, there is an appraisal. So constant monitoring and review is a very important aspect of an appraisal. The third one, it creates an atmosphere of mutual understanding and confidence, because it's a win-win situation, it is not a win-lose situation. A mutual understanding and confidence should be created. A culture of mutual understanding and confidence must be fostered in a system so that the appraisal can be carried out in a very healthy manner. The next one, systems should be capable of giving equitable justice to all. That means it should not be that the person who is underperformer and company banks on him that why you are underperformer, it is creating a problem in terms of achieving our goals. We cannot be very harsh and rude to the employees. There should be an equitable justice for all. Next one, able to fulfill the desired purpose by locating potential for promotion, increment, placement, transfers, etc. That means here what we are trying to find out, when we are undertaking performance appraisal, we need to identify what are the different areas, the strength areas, the weakness areas need to be identified, and according to the strength area, we need to reward that employee. We need to find out that this employee in the future can be a very helpful, can be a very potential employee in the days to come, and we need to provide that reward that in form of promotions, in form of pay hike, all these kinds of things should be there in the performance appraisal system. The last one, in terms of the characteristics of the performance appraisal, what comes in our mind, it states that it should not be aimed at harassing the employees. There are many managers in an organization who always takes up very superior positions in the organization, saying that, oh, my performance appraisal, I'm going to do your performance appraisal, you must be very careful. It is not in that. That is not the philosophy, that is not the objective of the performance appraisal. We are here to set out an understanding between an employee and the line manager, between an employer subordinate and the superior, that we are in a win-win situation. We all working towards a common purpose, towards a common goal, that is a goal of the organization to achieve, so that we are in a win-win situation in the days to come. I hope you have understood what are the characteristics and the qualities of sound appraisal system. Now let us proceed to the third slide, what performance appraisal process goes on, how the performance appraisal process goes on. Now in a performance appraisal, as I have mentioned, there are two parties. One is the appraiser and one is the appraisee. The appraiser is a person who appraised the employee, and the appraisee is the process on whom the appraisal is being conducted. So both the parties should be very clear in terms of their understanding what this performance appraisal should aim at. It should not be in terms of harassing the employee, but we must create a mutual understanding of achieving the goal of the organizations and in the days to come. Now, when we talk about performance appraisal process, it entails 6 very important steps, and we are going to understand the 6 steps separately. The first steps. The first one, it talks in terms of the established performance standards. I'm just going to read out the first 6 steps, then I'm going to explain one by one. The first one talks about establishing performance standards. Number 2, communicate the standards. To whom? To the employees, to the appraiser as well as to the appraisee. The third one, measure actual performance. Fourth, compare the actual performance with the standards. Fifth, feedback to the employer. Sixth, taking corrective actions if required. Now let us try to analyze one by one what this establishing of performance standards means to us. Now when we talk about in terms of establishing performance standards, what is performance standard? What is performance standards? What do I mean by standard? For example, I'm working in an organization, in a team leader positions, in a retail industry, in a retail store. I'm a team leader. So my standard, because in other words, the standards are basically the criteria or the factors. In our HR language, it is called the KRA, key result area. Because this KRA need to be defined, need to be designed, and need to be communicated to both the appraisee and the appraiser. Now, when you talk about the performance standards, we need to set those performance standards through the job understanding. That means through the job descriptions, it has to be established by both the superior and the subordinate in a discussion that what does the company expects from you in terms of the job standard. For example, when I'm working in a retail industry, my job is being evaluated as a team leader in terms of team leading quality, in terms of the leadership, as a team player, leadership, my communication, my cooperation. So I was being evaluated that I am very high on the team player criteria, but I am very low in terms of the communication. I am very low in terms of the this cooperation. So the company needs to understand that when this performance appraisal is being conducted after 6 months or after 1 year, that standards should be very clearly known to the employee as well as to his boss, who is actually the appraiser, that means the person who is actually conducting the appraisal. So there should be a clear understanding in terms of what does the company or the organization expects out of the employee in terms of his job. It should be clearly defined in terms of the performance standards or the performance factors. Is that okay to all of you? Okay. Now, and another thing, we must also understand when these performance standards are being set or designed in an organization, it should not be very complicated. It should be very easy to understand. It should not be vague. It should be very clear, so that even the lowest rung of the employee in an hierarchy of an organization should be understood that what does the company expects in terms of its performance. So once we establish the standards, once the standards is established, the next thing what we do, then we proceed to the next stage, the stage 2, where we say we communicate the standards. When we are communicating standard, whom we are communicating? We are communicating the two parties, one the appraisee and one the appraiser. What we are communicating, that what is our expectation in terms of our performance standard, it should be very clearly defined and clearly communicated to them. Now, when I am communicating there should not be any kind of vagueness, there should not be any kind of unclarity when I'm communicating. That means I should be very clear in terms of my understanding. The third one, we measure the actual performance. How do we measure the actual performance? We measure the actual performance measurement. That means the period has come. After a certain period, maybe after 6 months or maybe after 1 year, when we start working, and once we are in a job, we now started to measure our performance after a certain period. And when you are measuring this performance, we are measuring through different ways. So there are different mechanisms through which we measure the performance of an employee. It may be your personal observations, it may be in terms of your statistical report, it may be in terms of your oral report, it may be in terms of a formal report. We have different mechanisms to measure that. And I must always mention here that when you are measuring the performance appraisal, in the actual performance appraisal, we deploy different methods. We have our two broad sets. One is the traditional methods, we have the modern methods. In the modern methods, we have the methods of performance appraisal like 360-degree appraisal, we have the bar, we have the 720-degree, we have the graphic rating. So all these types of methods comes into the play when you do a performance appraisal measurement. The next step, which is very important, we compare the actual performance with the standard. What we do, that means once we set the standard, once we set that benchmark, once I start working after 6 months or 1 year, what is my actual performance? Is it matching with the standard or is it exceeding the standard? If it exceeds the standard, that means I am an exceptional employee in an organization. But if it does not match the standard, it falls below the standards, then what do I need to do? I need to do a rectification on that. I need to communicate this message to my employee that what is the way to do a rectification. And there comes the concept of review meeting. We do a constant review meeting so that the goal does not get hampered at the end of the day in an organization. So we always carry forward in terms of the comparing the actual performance with the standards. Is that clear? Now the fifth one, we give a feedback to the employer. Now how do we give the feedback? We give the feedback in terms of the actual result that evolve out from the stage 4. In the stage 4, what we have seen, we are comparing the actual performance with the standard, and in stage 5 we are giving a feedback to the employee. What we are giving a feedback, that means if my performance is good in terms of that particular period, how does it impacting the business goals, and if it is low, that means why it is low, why it is not impacting the business goal. We need to find out the reasons related to that, and we need to work on that. And the last stage which is very important here in terms of our discussion is taking corrective action if required. This corrective action is always necessary. There are two types of corrective actions when you go in terms of a feedback. One is a positive corrective action and one is a negative corrective action. And what is a positive corrective action? The positive corrective actions always speaks in terms of your promotion, salary hike, which is good for the company, which is good for the employee, and the negative corrections measure like in terms of a counseling, in terms of a coaching, in terms of a mentoring. We need to apprise to the employee that these are the gaps where your performance is not matching with the goal that is being set at the beginning of the new financial year. So we need to keep a track of that. We need to be careful next time. So therefore, the entire performance appraisal works in a very systematic manner and works in a very strategic way. We always keep two things in the mind. One is my KRA of a business and one is the KPI of a business. As we have discussed in the class, as you all know, we have a lot of discussions on our KRA and KPI. So here, when you talk about a KRA, we are talking in terms of the performance standard. That's all from my end. I end with this understanding what performance appraisal is all about. why performance appraisal is being conducted and how the performance appraisal is conducted. In the next session, we are going to study the different methods of performance appraisal and what are the limitations or the loopholes of the performance appraisal system. Thank you for the day, and I wish you all the best. Thank you.